I guess that means we're on the air. Morning, weirdos. Always one of a kind. No wedgie. Good morning, weirdos. How are we this morning? Well, I hope everybody is cozy in their little jammies. Well, I hope you've all had a chance to go and watch the playlist and see the X-1 video and the suspense and escape and lights out, everybody. That's a good one. Coffee. Oh yeah, that's the ticket. I'm in and I'm out. I'm in and I'm out. I'm here and I'm gone. I'm here and there. Well, I guess it was inevitable that I have a YouTube channel. Inevitable that I turn to video and sound. It's just, I guess, who I am. I tried to hide from it. I tried to ignore it. But it's just who I is. Right? Is this loud? You hear that? Is that annoying? It's annoying to me. Well, yes, I'm awake. So let's see. My brain is kind of scrambled. A friend's dog went missing, and we were out looking last night, and we were unsuccessful. So I had dog on my brain all night. God, I don't want to get into it because then I'll just make myself sad. So anyway, yeah. Yesterday's show was a blast. I can't wait to do the videos for the next program. I think we're going to do another X-1 and 3 other shows. I know we've got like Dimension X, Inner Sanctum, The Whistler. I'd like to stick to shows that have stories rather than shows that have like weekly, the same characters every week. Yeah, we'll get into that. There's always time for that. But there's so many story time shows. Let's pretend. There's just, God. Every company had their own playhouse, craft playhouse. Campbell's Soup had a playhouse. Mercury Theater, who was Orson Welles, he had his own playhouse. Yeah, the Mercury Theater. That's one of my favorites. Mercury Theater on the Air. Great stuff. So I'm gonna keep playing some of that. I'll probably pick out some of those little half-hour comedy things. I need to stay away from shows that contain guest singers, because usually the song that they're singing is going to be copywritten and I won't be able to use it, and then it'll get canceled out somewhere along the line on my show, or I'll get a copyright hit on my show, and I don't need that at this point. So yeah, I'm going to have to take the YouTube little YouTube course on rules and regulations and stuff. Not just so I can learn what to post and what not to post, but so that I can, it's like going to a traffic school. I can get this removed from my account, and then I won't have that strike against me. I don't want to be canceled for a week or something. I can deal with Facebook jail, right? I think it'd be real hard to go for a week without being able to do this. This would be difficult to give up. You know, it is what it is. Oh, man. Oh, man, I am just so tired. I planned to get to sleep early last night. Well, actually, I did. I got to sleep at around 3, right? 3:30. Yesterday afternoon, I took a nap about 3:30. Slept, till about 6:30. Got up, had some dinner. Didn't enjoy it because it felt like breakfast time, and I was eating, cream corn over cream of mushroom over rice, and it just didn't hit the spot. And then, of course, I found out about the missing dog. Not until I got up, until it was like 8 o'clock or something, and I'm like, well, I don't understand what's going on. How come somebody didn't let me know what's going on? And that was like, all right, well, I just can't sit here. I need to go out and look for a dog. So I grabbed my daughter and we went out driving around. I feel so helpless, and there's just nothing. I don't even know the dog. So I can't even pick up on some kind of connection, right? Usually I can vibe it out, just kind of let my senses guide me to where I was supposed to go, and I just could not pick up on anything last night, and that bummed me out. So I just kind of drove around aimlessly, hoping that I was going to luck into the right vibe, and it just didn't work. So my suggestion is to make flyers and park at either end of that dirt road and pass out flyers to everybody that goes by. Somebody's, bound to have seen that dog. And the thing about out here is this happens a lot. Dogs go off, and people out here are usually real quick to either call the animal control, or to take photos of the animal, or even to give the animal food and water and shelter. Okay, that's kind of the rules out here in the desert. You see a stray dog, you take it in. You figure everything out later, but just take the dog in. That's just the way it is. So hopefully the dog is going to allow itself to be taken in by a human. If that happens, then all is solved. I think I got to go deal with the dog. I'll be right back. There she is. Come on, big face. Come on, Bessie. There you go. Big goober. See, I was ready for you. I was ready for you. I can deal with, humans missing. Humans can deal with humans missing. They themselves can deal with themselves missing because they know what's going on. Right? You take a dog out of its element, its home, its couch, and you drop it out in the world, and you just, intentionally or unintentionally, I gotta move on. I will torment myself. Batteries. I charged up my new batteries. I've got a little rack here for AA and AAA batteries. So I charged up my batteries to put in my mixer here. I did that. I did title page animations. See, we did that. We did that. Well. Wait. Well, that takes care of that. Did that one too. Well, looks like I need to get that to Ethernet cable tonight. And look about testing out my live equipment. Let's see, I just need my HDMI to USB adapters. And that's it. That's all I need. Once that arrives, it's delayed. It's arriving late. Oh, wait. Those already arrived. This is the one that arrives. Now it arrives April 2nd because it is in Los Angeles. The only one I'm waiting on is I'm waiting on those USB to HDMI so I can take my USB cameras, I'll hook them into the HDMI ports on my editor. I'm hoping that works. If not, USB comes back and I get some HDMI cameras. They're more expensive. The little USB cameras I got. All right. I think I paid like $10 or $12 for them. Right. The HDMI camera is going to be a little more expensive. Of course, with an HDMI, I may have the ability to move the camera around, up and down, and zoom in and out remotely with one of those weird security cameras, right? I would prefer to just keep everything pretty simple. I don't want to get into a bunch of new cameras. The HDMI or the little USB cameras are just perfect for what I'm using. I can just mount them in different areas around my room here. So, fingers crossed, that's going to work. Well, somebody stopped in and gave me a thumbs up. But there's nobody there. Was it a ghost thumb? It's like a ghost. Let's see. Mike in the garage. Crazy Mike in the garage. He, crazy Mike. Get a lot of crazies out there. He sent me a message, asked if I was doing well, and yes, and hope that he stops by and hangs out. Yeah, just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Let's see. I think what I'm gonna do an old bong hit here, because I can. I don't condone it. I don't advocate doing the bong hits unless you're already there. If you're already there, the cat's out of the bag. The beans have been spilt. So, go for it. If you haven't and you're over 21, I would suggest that you probably go to edibles and avoid the smoking. Smoking is last century. Smoking is so, God, it's so 15th century, Listen for little doggy claws, tickety-tackety. Because they start clicking and clacking around, and it's like, son of a monkeys. Jeez. So this stuff makes me cough, but it don't put me to sleep. It's actually pretty mind stimulating. Yeah. All right, I keep spacing out. My head is elsewhere. The only way to shake it off is just to keep moving. Keep on moving forward. Yeah. So there's this whole reunion thing going on. I have gotten so many responses of positivity and so many indications that people really, really want to do this, so I'm still just in awe over all of the response, really. I mean, I've got my best friend's brother and sister, best friend's brother and sister's friends' families. I mean, there's just friends. That's what it's all about. At some point, it's going to get to where it's going to go beyond the scope of just Elsinore from the 1980s. And that's okay. I don't want to get people from Elsinore from like who weren't in the 70s and 80s and that core group of people connected to that group of people, or a group of people connected to that group of people, because there were so many cliques, and everybody just kind of scrambled up, so but I imagine that connected to those core 80s Elsinore people, there are going to be other people, right? Kids, grandkids, people who never really been to Elsinore, right? Kids, grandkids, other relatives, friends of the family. I imagine that we're probably going to have family friends in attendance because it's a family thing, old friends, new friends, but mainly it needs to be, the first thing here needs to be about, Elsinore, 70s and 80s, period. Even holding it to that, I mean, we're still looking at maybe a few hundred people. And that's crazy. Crazy. So shirts. I think the first order of business is going to be shirts. I want to come up with some shirt designs that really, really say, yeah, Elsinore, you know. I came up with a few days yesterday, or a few ideas yesterday. I want to do something with the Alamo Market. Okay, I want a shirt that says Alamo Market with the Alamo Market logo sign. So if somebody has to dig that up, I need Alamo Market logo signage, right? One of those ads from the newspaper would be perfect, right? A line drawing on a T-shirt, a line drawing of Alamo Market with the signage, and then maybe on the back of the shirt actually have a line drawing newspaper cutout, right, with the prices of things on the back. Some kind of red ink, really thin pencil line drawing, you know. That would be neat. White shirt, barn red, pencil sketch. To me, that would be cool. Same thing with the Ortega Oaks Market. Do something with the Ortega Oaks Market. Their signage from back then. Maybe with the Ortega Oaks Market, it should just be a line pencil drawing of the old building and the up van parked outside and a hang glider flying overhead, right? With the Ortega Mountains in the background. That seems like a neat shirt. I'd wear that. Up, right? There was that van that had the up painted on the side. That right there would make a great shirt, right? That van, looking at it from kind of like the front side of the van, right? So you kind of see a side shot of the van from the front, and you see the up on the back and the line, and then the lake in the background, a pepper tree, the sun, a boat doing a rooster tail, you know, and then maybe another hang glider. I don't know. Or a hang glider with its nose dipped down, parked right next to the van. Ooh, that sounds good. You know, after it's landed. Ooh. So there you go. So the flood. I actually have a copy of a printout of something from then, and I'd like to just reproduce the flood shirt from back. I survived the 1980 flood with the house floating in the water. That seems like a pretty straightforward shirt. Just take it, reproduce that graphic, and then just have that printed. Boom. And a shirt for Gary that says back to Elsinore, and then on below that it should say I drank the water, or something to that effect. Oops, I drank the water. Which doesn't mean that you went and got a cup and scooped up water out of the lake and drank it. It just means that you swam in the lake and you got some water in your mouth and you probably swallowed some water. So anybody who swam in the lake probably drank some of the water, and the jinx is that you'll always return, right? I guess it's true. It could be true, maybe. So I've started pardon me, started rebooting my computer more. I used to just leave it on, walk away from it, turn off the monitor, flip it over to another channel or something. So the computer's kind of always on, kind of thing. So I've started rebooting it once a day, at least, while I'm here using it. And actually, if I reboot it, then don't open any programs except for the one editing program, things actually work a little smoother. I'm freeing up that RAM, which is allowing things to just process better. So I'm able to get a little bit more done, a little bit more quickly, but it's still pretty slow going. As soon as this other laptop gets here, it's gonna help speed things up quite a bit. I think this is the weekend that I might be doing passwords, redoing passwords, and getting things ready to load up these programs onto the new computer. If I take care of the passwords this week, then next week when the computer shows up, all I have to do is plug and play, baby. Before then, I'm hoping to get this live mixer, this live streaming mixer thing working. I'm still short a USB to HDMI adapters. Sorry, Bessie, I didn't mean to scare you. I know, Bessie. I know. All right. Well, somebody was here and gone because I got a like there. But I am alone again, naturally. Let's see. I know I had a bunch of things that I wanted to deal with, but then my brain got scrambled last night. It looks like a mess in here, huh? Well, on camera, I guess it looks like a mess. It looks like a really crowded mess. But, you know, cameras. I mean, I can't even reach back here to any of this stuff. It's far away. Looks like it's right there. Looks like I'm touching it. But it's still a foot away from me. This table here, this table's a foot away. The end of that table there, you know, is like 3 or 4 feet away. It's a small room. I mean, from this wall to this wall, or from this cabinet over here to this cabinet here is only 10 feet. So the face of this cabinet to the face of that cabinet is 10 feet. The face of this cabinet to the end of my cabinets here is only 8 feet. So we got an 8 by 10 foot rug here. This floor is the floor space of my room here. It's not a big room. It's just big enough to fit in 3 or 4 Friday evening stools for Friday Night Live. So there's these tall white stools that I borrowed from a friend. Thank you, Ron. And I use those for Friday Night Live. If I have to, I can go over and borrow a couple of more of these large, tall white stools to fit more people in here for the live stuff. At that end of the room is a green room, right? Basically, well, he's got green walls. Leave him alone, Harry. But that is what I call the green room. It's just a room to sit, a couple of chairs, table, just a hangout spot, something not on set, right? The monitor that I'm looking at doubles as a TV. It can spin around and aim into that room, into the green room at those 2 chairs. So we could sit over there and watch things that we're working on. We can just sit over there and hang out, get ready. People who aren't on camera, but are here, can hang out over there and kind of be an audience. My house is tiny. I wish I had a bigger house, but it is what it is. I'd have to win the lottery to get a new house. Getting another place just really isn't in the cards. I'd love it. Out here you could get a really nice place for pretty cheap. But that kind of cheap is still way expensive for me. Partially disabled. So I'm literally partially retired. I can't do a whole lot physically anymore. So I don't try. I try to do things. I try to use my head more, right? Because that's what I got. That's what still functions. So I spent a lot of time in this chair at the computer doing stuff. And it really makes me feel accomplished, right? I can sit here, all day long and play the guitar. And that doesn't hurt, but it doesn't make me feel as accomplished as creating a little 2-minute, 5-minute video, right? I put the Sunday show thing on hold because my first show is like a 90-minute show, and trying to edit a bunch of small segments together in a 90-minute show and then compile that together in one 90-minute processing save. It's just a logistical nightmare, right? The technology I have right now is just too slow. So with the new laptop, and yeah, by new laptop, I mean the cheapest little Acer laptop I could get from QVC, right? Nothing fancy, nothing, it's literally got a terabyte, and 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is twice the size of what I have now. And it's running Windows 11 and I'm running Windows 10, right? So it's actually a huge step. As cheap as it is, it's a giant bump up. And my thinking is that because I can live stream directly from my mixer, that frees up this laptop. So I won't have to be doing this on my laptop. I won't have to be doing this on the new laptop. I won't have to do it on my phone. It's like I'll be able to do 3 things at the same time. I'll be able to go live. While I'm live, I'll be able to utilize one of my computers to pump data into the live feed, video, audio, that kind of stuff. Or share with you what I've got going on, pictures, media search, something like that. Take you to the archive, let you poke around with me. So it really opens up the whole scope of the show. It's just gone crazy, right? Yeah, it's just I'm at the point now to where I'm just gonna pop. Hopefully somebody will be there with a sponge to, wring me back into a bucket and I can congeal and come at this again. But I'm really just gonna, I'm so overwhelmed at this point with everything that's going on. Internally, externally, bilaterally, peripherally, everything has just gone crazy. Sniffy. I've got I've got absolutely no plans this weekend, but I know I'm going out somewhere to do something somehow. I got to get to an open mic night. So my friend David works so much. God bless his little heart. He does the wind generators down in the pass down there, and it keeps him really, really busy. He does long days, and then his schedule is constantly changing and rotating and changing and rotating. So I never know when he's going to be available to go play, right? And he's like my main play date buddy. You know, I don't really have anyone out here that falls even close to being the kind of person that I can actually jibe with. You know, it's really hard to find people who aren't completely turned off by my weirdness, right? And I know that I can tell that sometimes he's looking at me like, who the fuck is this guy? And I'm sure I get that a lot, you know. But for the most part, you know, he's pretty accepting of my weirdness. He's 10 years younger, so he still gets pretty riled up over stuff. Yeah, I'm the old laid back guy who every once in a while spazzes out about something. Mainly it's because I'm just a weird guy. It's getting cool. I'm gonna have to go warm up this here coffee. So let's see. Let me get my coffee into the microwave. Always one of a kind. That's me. I saw this shirt and thought, like I always do when I go out, ooh, I love that shirt. That's me. Yeah. I've always been a pepper. Would you like to be a pepper too? Yeah. Totally. He's like totally talking about that girl on Iron Man, like totally. Pepper Potts. Shut up. I am not. Well. Uh-huh. Oh, I see what that is. What is that? What is that? Successfully selected. I am successfully selected is what it says. Okay. All right, if you say so. Let's see. I was on for 6 hours yesterday. That's a lot of content. It's a lot of me going blah, 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 blah. But it's a lot of content. The more content, the means the more YouTube likes me. They like people who just pump content, right? Original content, even if it's just a guy sitting here rambling about his life. They love original content. They see my analytics popping up. They see people popping in and out to check it out. They're like, something's going on over here. This guy's got a little house party going on. So that's the main reason I do this show, aside from the real reason I need to get all of this shit out of me. Tom from the Tommy Tom Show said, "Die empty, brother." And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to unload. I'm trying to empty it all out. So when I go, it's all here. Another thing to do with the new computer is start using my disk burner and that stack of freaking discs that I've got, and start creating files of discs, right? I want to put all of last season on disc. I want to put all of this season on a disc. I want to put all of my music videos, every single thing on my channel should be on disc at some point. So that's one of those things where I just do not have enough time in my day anymore. And this is an insomnia. All right, this is an insomniac who doesn't have enough time. Lately, my split shift, sleeping a few hours at night, a few hours during the day, has gotten me more sleep. Unfortunately, I'm losing big chunks of my day now that I'm not used to losing. So I need to work out a better schedule. I'm better at this in the morning, which is why I do the morning show. I'm on. I'm awake. I'm on. I'm functioning. My brain is going. So that's why I do this in the morning, and I do it as long as my brain will allow me to do this, or my pain will allow me to function. Which is why I get, the Bong Hits. But the video, it's hard to get a lot of video content because I have to create it, and it takes time to create. I'm creating this now as it's happening, right? So there's nothing involved here. The only thing I want to change about my live streams is adding intros and outros. That's it. Opening theme music, credits, that kind of stuff, and then go into the show, and then we're live for however long, and then I push a button, and here go my out credits, and then I play that, and we listen to a song, and we watch some credits, and maybe some photos of the week. I could change it every week, But I want to liven things up a bit, and I want to start doing more in the mornings, like Wednesday. Wednesday's show is really fun. Because I get to have things to do and talk about. I can feel like a DJ here. Once I get everything working together, it'll be real easy to just push a button and say, okay, here's this music, here's this video, this movie, this radio show, and then bring it to you right here, right now. Switch out the screen so you're looking at a feed. Video, audio, something. So this is going to be neat. And then, Monday movie memories, totally TV Tuesdays, old time radio Wednesdays. We'll do something on Thursdays. We'll figure out something to pull the Thursday show together so that we start off with kind of a themed show. And then from there, it just kind of snowballs into this whole conversation, discussion. So, yeah, I'm real excited about that. And coming up with some kind of rack unit that holds everything that I can take and throw in the van and go mobile, right? That. Have it set here, be able to do everything that I'm doing now in one unit with a monitor, keyboards, mixer, everything right here. I'm going to have keyboards for 2 computers, keyboard and mouse for 2 computers, plus the audio, video, mixers,
I'll keep my other mixer over here. At some point, I want to have something set up so that one laptop can go out and be its own mobile unit with one camera and sound, and then have the ability to be networked so that it can get a strong internet signal. But I think the main reason for having everything in one little set rack is so that I can move it out of the room, clean my room, move it back into the room, go mobile with it, take it over to another house and set up. Mobility, I think, is probably the ease of use. Make it easy to use and you'll use it more. When things are hard to deal with and frustrating and cumbersome, I just as soon fucking forget it, right? Some of the old retro stuff, I love how big and cumbersome and bulky it is. The old 1982 Sony Trinicon cameras, with the big eyepiece and the microphone hanging off the front and the cable, hundreds of feet of cable dragging behind you. I dig that, going into a big old giant box with a tape. That's bitching, but I don't always want to do that kind of stuff. If I'm going to do a house party show, right, then I would want a camera in each location, a stationary camera in each location, and then have a mobile camera that can start in one spot and switch back and forth between the mobile and the stationary camera. Stationary camera, mobile guy moves over here, gets a zoom in of this guy jamming. We switch to his camera, then we go back to the stationary camera, and then the guy comes around and he gets a shot over here of this guy, and then we switch over to him again. So we can do that and get a multi-camera thing going. Then we can leave that room or leave the garage, walk into the bedroom, and now there's somebody in there hanging out on a bed with an acoustic in there singing a love song to a girl, I gave my love a cherry. So we go in and we watch this for a few minutes, and then we come in and maybe pass by the bathroom, and there's a couple of guys doing a cappella. What's a cappella? Is that like some new drug? Do you need a syringe for that? And then into the bedroom, the kitchen, backyard, and have cameras in each of those locations, stationary. But have one main camera following the action through the house, walking down the hall, going through it, opening up a door, make it seem like you're there at the party. You're one of the viewers, right? You're one of the party goers. That would be neat. So there's an idea. And I've got enough cameras to do that. And I'm real excited about it. I'm just real excited about it. What I don't have is enough time. I need about 2 or 3 of me is what I need. There's one always sleeping. There's one always getting the head together, and getting shit organized. And then there's one actually functioning, doing something, recording something, playing something, making something happen. And we just each keep taking over that seat, and I need like 3 of me. I need like 3 shifts of me rotating. Because I just ain't got enough time. I'll get done with this and however long it takes me to deal with this. And I don't like to put a time limit on this. I hate to cap my morning show. Friday show, I like to keep it about an hour. This show, I like to just let it go. If I do a house party show, that one will probably go as long as it goes, right? We'll keep it in a certain time frame because people are going to have responsibilities, and we're going to have people coming and going, right? But for the most part, we want to keep it in about a 4-hour period, whether we use all of that or not. We don't want to go much further than that because we're going to have people that have been there, a couple hours and they're done. however fun it is, responsibility usually wins. And that's cool. I just cannot keep this coffee warm enough. Yep. I sure love my little shack here, but man, is it creaky. I guess if I could, I would begin construction immediately. There's things underneath this mobile home that need to be dealt with that I can do, but I just can't do physically. I can deal with, I can plan, I can organize, I can actually build. But when it comes to actually getting the things under there and implementing what I've built, it's just too much for me. Now the inside here, I can do most of the inside stuff here I can deal with. It's just ripping paneling off, rewiring, replumbing, new paneling, strengthening, cabinets, floors. I mean, it's all basic in here. It's all one-man shit. My big wall cabinet here, that's going to have to come down, and I need to build a wall behind it and around it, and support it underneath, and support my ceiling where it's sagging, because it's a mobile home. It's not a house. If it was a house with a sagging roof, I'd run, but it's a mobile home. So it's kind of like in its genes, it's going to eventually sag like an old horse with a sway back. But that's the only thing I can't move is the big cabinets. It's 5 big pieces, a base, and then 4 big square. I actually had to have guys come in here and lift it off and in pieces and move it down. So that's one thing that's going to happen. I need to remove the top 2 pieces down, strengthen the floor, everything, build the wall around, and then put the pieces back up there and then enclose the wall. And then I have to have cabinets on the other side that have access into behind this cabinet. There's got to be some kind of little gap where wires and stuff can run. And then it's got to be sealed up good enough so that varmints can't get in there and then create a home, So I've already had enough varmints in my house. It's unfortunate when you bring one into your home. Piece of garbage. So yeah, we're getting towards the end of the week, which means that I'm getting less and less sleep. The good part is that I'm actually taking naps during the day more and more. But I mean, I literally only got like 3 hours sleep last night, maybe 2. I mean, it literally, realistically, probably 2 hours. I laid sitting up with a movie on, and then woke up with that movie over, and realized then that I had been kind of sitting up, dozing through the movie, which means I didn't really see any of it, but I didn't really sleep either. It wasn't until after I turned it off and laid down at about 2 that I actually did some sleeping, but between 2 and 4:20 when I woke up, I think I got up twice to take a leak, right? Which means my REM sleep was like nil, and that's where I suffer, is I get rest, but I don't get any good solid sleep, you know. Whew. Pain, what a reality, total reality. But it's my reality, so I deal with it. Pain is life. Life is pain. I have known that since, since the first time I felt pain. The first time I remember feeling pain. First time I remember feeling pain, there was chickens pecking at my feet because I was locked in a chicken coop. And I was about 2 years old. 2, maybe 3. I was pretty young. My sister was a little baby, so I would have to be no more than 3. But I remember the chickens pecking at my feet, my little bare feet, my little baby 3 or 4-year-old feet, and I'm locked in a chicken cage. And I'm not allowed out until I eat the ice cream cone. And the ice cream cone was a pile of shit in my brother's hand. And I was tempted to eat that until my mother came out and rescued me, because I was getting pecked. Bottoms, tops of my feet were just getting pecked. So that was the first time I felt pain that I remember. Pain. I'm not talking about, I stubbed my toe. I think the next time I felt pain was getting smacked in the face with a fire engine, a metal Tonka fire engine. I wasn't allowed to play with it, so I got smacked in the face with it, and wound up with 3 stitches in my upper lip. Still have the scar. It's one of the reasons why I started wearing a mustache as early as possible. If you look at my earlier pictures, and you could see a definite scar on my upper lip. There's a couple of things from my childhood that I changed when I was younger, all through my life, actually, up until about 15 years ago. I had a big mole over my eye. Right? I don't even remember. I think it was right here. I had a mole right here over my eye. And I had a big mole right here in front of my ear, a big dark brown gnarly thing that just got bigger as I got older. This one here stayed small and pink, right? It was no beauty mark, neither of them. But those are the 2 things that I just hated about myself, my appearance. So it took me decades to get to where I could actually have them removed. And I did. As soon as I got an insurance that covered wart removal or mole removal, I had them puppies yanked, And it's, of course, they could be cancerous, so I had them yanked. And that made me feel different about my appearance, right? It made me think of myself as looking different. And I did. I would look into the mirror and I'd go, wow, man, that's heavy. In fact, one time, before I had the moles removed, we went in for a family portrait, and it was like an omen that the guy who had done all of the work on the photographs post-production had airbrushed out the mole without asking, right? I mean, it could have been offensive if I had, didn't want my body altered, right? It was, why did you take the mole away? I want a new picture. You removed my mole, right? It offended you? It's my mole, right? So I was like, wow, that's pretty heavy that the mole got removed in the photograph. And that had nothing to do with later on when I went to the doctor for a checkup, and he said, you want these things removed? And I said, yeah. Oh, yeah, please. And he chopped and froze and lasered. And yeah, in fact, I had just started to grow one on the end of my nostril. One of my nostrils started to get a little pink mole, just like the one above my eye over here. So now I had 3 moles on my face at this point, right? And I hated them. I just hated them. Mainly because of this big old dark gnarly one over here. This one up here wasn't so bad. It was kind of a bummer because I would bump it on things and was afraid I was going to catch it and get it cut off or bleed or something, and that would have been a bummer. But this darker one over here, and the one on my nose that just popped up, I was uncomfortable with that one because it was new, and it was right on my nostril, right? So it was always in the way, and I was afraid that one was going to get nicked. So, and then I had a dark spot on the middle of my back. So I went in one day and the doctor took all of these things and burned them and shaved them and lasered them and froze them and did all that shit. I felt lighter coming out. Wasn't even a microgram. But yeah, it was pretty heavy. But that's, going back to my childhood, I was always, didn't like the way I looked. I think the third painful thing from my childhood that is my first experiences with pain, the chicken coop and the pecking on my feet, the fire engine smack in the head, and then the subsequent strapping down in the doctor's office and getting stitches in my lip, right? In the same period as the Tonka, I zipped my noodle up in my zipper, right? I was in a hurry and took a squirt and then yanked that zipper up and then just grabbed the whole underside of my shaft, man. And it hurt like hell. I mean, I was just fucking dying, right? How does that even happen? How does that even happen where you zip fucking skin up into a zipper? But it happened. And I screamed, and the babysitter, this red-headed hippie girl from the neighborhood up there in Sierra Madre Canyon, right? And she's just this little young hippie teenage girl with wavy, curly red hair, fiery red hair. And of course, she said, I hurt my pencil. You hurt your little pencil. She calls it a pencil. The way people come up with names for this. I mean, how did that? So am I right with it? Because you can write with it in the snow or something. I don't get it. So she assisted me. She yanked that zipper down. I still have a scar today. But that was my third experience with pain as a child. And it hasn't really gotten any easier. So I've really become accustomed to pain, not just physical pain, because that's like only a part of the pain that I'm normally feeling, that I've been normally feeling since I was that little kid who had his feet pecked on, right? Physical pain is one thing, but mental and emotional pain is a whole other ballgame. But it's a whole part, of the pain that I endure. I guess isn't it that way for everyone, right? We all have our crosses to bear. So physical pain, I'm just used to, pain that would send most people to the emergency room, I live with on a daily basis and have lived with on a daily basis since I was very young. What the hell is he talking about? Leave him alone, Harry. It's a quest to self-discovery. But, I've literally been in one form of pain or another, mentally, emotionally, physically, my entire life. It's been my bosom buddy, my lifelong companion pain. I never asked for it, you know. It's like, I never sent you a friend request. Get the hell out of here. That's just the way it is. I'm going to deal with some pain right now. So I change my bong water daily. I clean my bong about once a week with alcohol and salt, big chunks of rock salt. Wish I could do the same thing with my lungs, right? Just a little alcohol, a little salt, shake me up and spit it out. And I'm good to go. My insides have got to be as black as the blackest highway. As black as the blackest night, his lungs were. So it's an easy decision to make. If you're thinking, wow, my friends smoke, maybe I should start smoking. Don't fucking smoke, you idiot. Don't do that. Don't put that crap into your body. Leave that for us old last century people. You know, let's move on. You know, we're already doing enough damage to our bodies and, you know, the planet. I mean, come on, we can at least stop damaging our bodies, right? Sheesh. Sheesh. Oy, too much shit in my fucking brain. Yeah, you know what? I am really just so totally excited about this whole technological thing. I think it's probably going to be after the show today. I got to go work, got to go clean a house. God, I love work. I mean, now I do. When I was a handyman, I used to just love getting up and throwing them tools in the van and saying, all right, what am I doing today? You know, who am I helping out today? What am I making better today? And it got to the point to where, oh God, who's going to give me fucking shit and want a super deal today? You know, everybody wants a super deal. You know, look, I'm an hourly rate and there's a 2-hour minimum. Figure out what you want me to do in that 2 hours and I'll do it. If you don't have enough for me to do in that 2 hours, I can either find something or you can pay me for 2 hours when I only did a half an hour's worth of work. It's up to you. But don't come along asking me to do 8 hours and then give you a fucking deal. You know what the rate is. You know what the job is. You know that if somebody else came and did it, they do a shitty job at twice the price, right? And now you want me to give you a deal? You're already getting the special. I mean, I'm a third of what normal handymen are charging, you know. And you want a deal? Yeah, I got tired of having to make fucking deals every single fucking day and job. You know, every house that I clean, I don't have to make a deal to clean that house. Nobody's trying to, you know, well, if you clean 3 houses, you know, then maybe I could, you know, pay 2.5. It's like, fuck you. I don't have to deal with that anymore. You know, this is what we charge to clean a house. You know, I clean a house, you pay this. I clean a house, you pay this. I clean a house, you pay. There's no fucking around about it anymore. You know, clean a house a day for a week, rent's paid. You know, clean a house a day, you know, for a couple of weekends and everything else is taken care of. I mean, it's literally, we keep everything that simple, Spartan, small, simple, you know, don't get into a lot of extravagance. Don't have shit mortgaged out the fucking ass. Don't have car payments. You know, don't fall into that, you know, consumer slave thing, you know, where you have no choice but to work this much because your bills are this much. I mean, that's where they get you. That's where modern slavery comes in, you know, credit. As soon as slavery was abolished, we got credit. We got everybody buying shit on credit, right? And now everybody's a fucking slave, right? We just spread it around, you know. Sure, I'm not saying that we need slavery or we should have never abolished slavery. Thank goodness that's over. But at the same time, we are now slaves to a whole host of other fucking screwed up things. Most people are a slave to their phone, first of all. I mean, if they can't stay on the road between the lines and stop and go when they're supposed to because they can't get their heads out of their lap, right? There's something wrong. There's something wrong with people, right? You do this, you shut it down, and you set it fucking aside. If it goes diggy, 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 you fucking ignore it, or you pull the fuck over, and then you deal with it. You don't make everybody else responsible for your fucking addiction, right? Because that's what it is. It's like a drunk driver. You make everybody else responsible for your fucking addiction. Idiot drivers on the phone, that's an addiction. If you can't leave it alone to go 10 minutes down the fucking road to the store, you're an addict, and you need to have that phone surgically removed from your ass, period. I got no trouble being without my fucking phone, let alone not looking at it. If I go off and leave the house to go somewhere and my phone is not in my pocket, am I going to get halfway there and turn around and go get my phone? No. If I got to leave town, right? If I don't need my phone for directions, right? I got maps in my fucking car, what do I need my fucking phone for? I got a jar full of fucking quarters, and eventually I'll find a fucking payphone, right? I stayed away from cell phones for so long because there were still payphones. Right now, it's hard to find payphones. There's a couple of payphones 8 miles that way at the college. There's a couple of payphones here in town. There's one out in Wonder Valley. I mean, there's payphones, but they're pretty far. I think what I should probably do is make a comprehensive list of payphones in my area. That would be neat, right? Every time I see a payphone, put a pin on a map, right? Tell him he can do it on Google Earth. Shut up, Marge. So yeah, totally. I get so wrapped up in all of the planning for all of this that sometimes I can't get out of my head, right? I just can't escape. Sometimes I have to write things down, do a schematic, draw a picture, make a list, check things off in order to get it out of my head so that I can go on and do something else. Sometimes I just cannot. It's like a dog with a bone. I just cannot give it up, And I don't want to. I'm having too much fun with this. It's not a job. It's a hobby. I finally got a hobby that I can feel good about. Making videos is my thing. It's my hobby. Why did I get business cards for my hobby? Because it's fun, because I want to have more fun. I want people to know I'm having fun. I want those people to want to have fun with me. If it looks like I'm having a fucking ball, I probably am. Do you want to have a ball? Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? And it's the card, like the shirts and the hat and the room and the van. It's all to show enthusiasm for my time adventures, right? Because that's all it is. It's just an adventure. It's just a time jump. That's all I do. I just bounce around from here to back then and in between. I just kind of bounce back and forth. And that's pretty cool. Occasionally I can get somebody to go along with me. I need to create more time travel videos, right? where I take a subject or a time or a place or a person or something, and we time jump back and kind of explore that, right? And I've got a bunch of ideas on the next episode of Elsinore Brothers Presents, right? But I don't know where, where to start. The first one, Hi, They Call Me Mike, I'm going to use that as part of the 90-minute special. Everything else will be new, but that one will be there because that documentary thing will be one of the pop-up elements that'll keep popping up. Maybe I'll just do one on Elsinore, right? Call it It Smells Like Elsinore. Maybe. I want to do one on Wounded Knee 2. Not Wounded Knee also, but Wounded Knee 2, number 2. Wounded Knee number 2, 1973. On the site of Wounded Knee 1, which is why it's called Wounded Knee 2. So there's that. Things that have some kind of meaning in my family's history. I might do something about Sierra Madre Canyon, which is my earliest memories and experiences are in that canyon there. So, and we've got a lot of slides for that. So, slideshow video versus documentary video. Yeah. I mean, there's not really anyone to talk to about the history of when we moved there, why we moved there, who our neighbors were, that kind of stuff. Me, my brother, and my sister are the only ones alive from that era. And my sister was too young to remember it. She don't start remembering stuff for a couple of more years. My brother remembers things, but I'm not sure he's going to remember everything, right? And then logistically trying to get with people to have these long interview conversation type things, that's difficult. So it's usually what I can do by myself will usually decide what I'm going to do, right? Where are we at? Well, we're in about the middle of hour 1 here. It's March 28th. I do believe it is my father's birthday today. And he has passed away years ago. It is morning time, but man, does it feel like late in the evening. Late. Totally late. Does the window, does it look kind of staticky, doesn't it? It looks a little pixelated. That's totally groovy, man. It looks like it's raining out there. It's not. Wow. I got to come up with a plan for gotta make a schematic for that rack, right? Ooh, somebody's looking at my videos, my photos on Facebook. So what would be really neat is I've got a little stand with a little one of those little tripod stands at the bottom, stable ones, not like a camera tripod, but a post with the little feet at the bottom that make it really stable, right? So I have one of those. And then like over the top of it, like a saddle, right? I'll put One side will be the top with a monitor and a mixer, and then 2 shelves below it for keyboard and mouse ×2, right? And then on the other side of that saddle shelf thing, there should be 2 deep pockets for laptops to sit, right? 2 laptops and a VCR or 2 stacked in there, right? So that everything can then be wired together in that one unit. And then the only thing going out are power, sound, video, right? So then I can just take a camera with a cable, put a camera somewhere and run a cable down, plug it in, and do that. Set up cameras and then set up microphones and plug them in. That's it. That's all it takes. Plug one plug into the wall and everything will be on a junction box connected within that saddle cabinet rack type deal. So one side will be a rack mount type thing for these big units here, and then the other side, this side, will be the keyboards and all the hand controls for everything, right? That sounds pretty cool, actually. Now I just have to design it and then figure out what I'm going to build it out of. More than likely, it will be plywood and a crate jig, and I'll screw it and glue it together, you know. And then I might do it in 2 pieces that lock together, right, over the top of a stand. Yeah, it's got to be mobile. It's got to be portable. It's got to be small enough that that it fits just like this. I mean, just something small, you know, unassuming, something where I can reach the keyboards, hit the mixer, cameras, audio, that kind of stuff. Have this small little monitor right there, and have everything built into it. Maybe have little straps along the side so I can wind up a cable and a camera and then strap it in. So I've got my camera strapped on one side, my microphone cable strapped on the other side, maybe holsters for my boom mics here in between, a couple of holsters back there. That would be neat. And try to come up with some way to put it all in one thing so that I don't have to detach units from units. All I'm detaching is peripheral stuff, microphones, cameras, power. That's it. I think that is going to be the best thing for me. It's going to free up this area again. It's going to put everything in one spot again, and it's going to allow me to be a mobile, you know, take the monitor off, put some, so maybe it should have a, so if it's shelves, you know, a tier coming down in little tiers, right? Kind of at an angle. And so that the stuff kind of steps up, the keyboards kind of step up into the top where the controls and the monitor are, right? And then maybe have it so the front has a panel that locks on there with a couple of latches, and now that's enclosed. The keyboards, the mouse, and have the top with sides on it and a back, a little like pony wall around the top controls so that the top controls can't slide off. But I can also take a little box front top thing and put it over it and lock it on, which then encloses that, and put maybe padding in the top so that it keeps everything here on the top from sliding around. Okay, so I've got the front enclosed with a little panel that's got a pad on it that keeps things from bouncing around. I've got a cover over the top so I can pop that monitor off and close the controls. Or maybe the top has a small pedestal for the monitor, or even a rack mount so that it stays. And then there's a little front that attaches to cover up the tops of the controls, and underneath that little platform behind the controls under the TV monitor will be all of those cables anyway, so they should be hidden, right? So that'll work. I can already see it in my head now. Now I'm going to draw it out. And then the backside should just be a rack mount. Do I need a tripod stand, or can I just build a little cabinet with some casters on them? A little rectangular cabinet that's just a rack, right? And it's just got all of my units stuffed in there. And if I do a rack, each platform, little shelf, right? Each little tiny shelf that has a computer stuffed into it, I'll put it on a slide so it slides out. I can open laptop, use the laptop, or use that monitor. Close it back up, slide it back in there. The cables and everything slide in and out with it. And then the next one, same thing. Laptop slides in and out, right? The two VCRs down there below should just be stationary fronts, right? Why you got them VCRs there, bud? Well, because I like to have one camera or two cameras going into a VCR and just hit record. Put a 6-hour tape in there and hit record, right? And then everything else is happening live, right? And I've got a couple of cameras just shooting raw footage. So there you go. I can set up 2 cameras shooting raw footage, have another camera shooting raw footage onto the laptop that I'm not using, and then have go live with the mixer and the streamer, and then use another secondary laptop to feed video and audio. I mean, there's just so many different pieces, and it's all starting to come together. The jigsaw puzzle is starting to unjig, right? Gosh. So today's the day. Tonight's the night. I'm gonna, well, maybe not. If that adapter doesn't get here today, then I'm kind of boned. Well, maybe not. I mean, the prices for those little adapters are pretty negligible, a couple of bucks. I've got to go out and get USB-C to USB cables, and I've got to get some Ethernet cables. So I guess while I'm out, if I happen to see a USB to HDMI adapter, I'll pick one up, and then I can do a live test with my streaming mixer. Having an extra one of those is not a bummer. Not at all. Not at all. Gosh, really excited. I think I'm going to have to go to a 2-hour show today, because I am going to have to start working on something. I'm starting to, there's this little creative ball inside of me, and right now it's just bouncing all over inside of me, just like a pinball, just ricocheting all over right now, and I need to get it the fuck out of me. So I'm gonna have to set down some things onto paper, clean and organize my room here, and put together a small list of things to go get. And then if I can find a small cabinet desk type thing that's similar in price to building something, then I'll just get a little cabinet, right? A little metal rack. Metal rack is better than wood because it's, first of all, it's lightweight, and ventilation, right? There's no wood up against the bottom of something where the ventilation fans are and stuff on laptops and VCRs and everything. So that's probably a good idea. Cables and stuff are passed easily through. But at the same time, I like the idea of being able to enclose the whole thing, right? And, freaking couple of handles on the freaking side, pick it up and drag it away. Wheel it into the door and then pick it up and carry it into the van and wheel it into the van. And something that is self-contained. Yeah, I may have to build it. Yeah. That's all there is to it. So I have to get a sheet of plywood. Half inch plywood. That's going to take the Craig jig screws pretty good. You go any thinner than that, and you've only got a little bit of screws pulling into the 3/8. So a sheet of half inch finished plywood. That's about $50. And then make sure that I've got the correct screws, and that's it. That's all I need. Just a sheet of plywood. And then take my schematic and draw out each individual piece with the measurements. Make a cut list. Cut and shape all of my pieces. And then come up with a way to put it all together. Yeah, I think just a basic straight up and down cabinet, like a stereo cabinet with shelves inside. And I think the bottom should be a drawer with a drawer for cables and microphones and stuff, right? Microphones, cables, cameras, they all go down in a big drawer down at the bottom. And then above that, I've got 2 VCRs on a shelf. And then above that, 2 slides with laptops on them, maybe 3 slides, right? So I can introduce a Apple in there. And then the front, that'll be the back, the opening to all of that stuff. The front should be just some shelves and the controllers, right? Yeah, I can't put the front and the shelves and everything side by side. It's too big, it's too bulky, it's 2 pieces. Then I have to have cables running between them. I can't put the shelves and the keyboards and the mixers and the monitor on the same side because there's not enough room. It would be too tall to have all of that. I'd have to stand up for the show, right? So if I have one side with some angled shelves for my tiered keyboards and controllers, and then below that maybe have it angled down and then go straight down so that it's got a place for all of these cables coming out and in to kind of hang out, right? Just make a little basin for all of the cables to sag into, rather than try to have them all wound up behind everything nice and tight. Just have them drop down into a thing and then back into their, some will be short, most will be long, right? Aha. And then there should be 2 pieces. The front shelf unit that's like a big rectangle, right? A big monolith type thing with shelves in it and racks, and a big, either a thing that opens like this with a big box in it, which might be easier. Yeah, just open it up and it hinges out like that, and it's just like a potato drawer, right? So that'll be at the bottom. 2 VCRs, 2 slides, 2 or 3 slides for laptops, and then the top will be where the monitor is, and it'll be facing away from the side with the stuff on it. Those cables will go down into a hole and eventually down into that basin or plugged into wherever they are. In that basin, there should be a junction box. So when you open it up, it's got a junction box attached to the back of the basin with all of the things coming down plugged into it. And then one cord outside that gets plugged into a wall. Okay. And then that's it. Just one solid piece, one unit with everything in it. It'd probably take me a day to build. You know, cut out all of my pieces, lay everything out, sand everything, smooth everything, pre-drill all of my holes, and then glue and screw, and that's it. Glue, screw, clamp, and that's it. We're off and running. And the next day, put casters on it, and it's good to go. Casters and a couple of handles on each side, I think. A couple of handles so that 2 people can grab it and lift it, or 1 person. It'd be neat if I could put a rack, a little rack on the back. Maybe I'll just have a little wall on the top for the TV to be mounted, the little monitor, for it to be mounted permanently on there. It's a small monitor. I could mount it into a top and have it hinge open, so that when it hinges open, it uncovers the controllers on the top. That's a neat idea. And then it just hinges open and locks up the monitor, the controllers, and then have a pad that I stick in between the two that cushions it all tight, snug together. I like that idea. So now we're enclosing the top, right? We're putting up a panel or a hinged door over the front this way and a hinged door over the other side that way, and it all encloses. I can get all of these pieces out of one sheet. Designing it so that it all fits together and everything fits inside. The cables coming out the side of these laptops makes it not just a little, what is that, a 15-inch, 16-inch laptop. It turns it into like a 24-inch, literally, because we got my biggest thing coming out of this is one of these RCA to USB converters, right? And that one sticks out about 3.5 inches, 4 inches. And then the bulky HDMI cable coming out the other side sticks out 2.5, 3 inches. So that adds width to this. But because I want to get away with a keyboard and a mouse side by side on a shelf, that's pretty big. I might switch to the little stationary mouse to save room, but I don't like those. So it's going to be pretty wide anyway. And then it all gets painted black. Flat, matte black. The blackest of blacks. Get 20 coats so it just looks like a big chunk of fucking video equipment inside and out. Just black, black, black with big chunks of black styrofoam cushion, right? I'll have to look at Harbor Freight to see if they have any rack mount cases, because that might change the whole ballgame. But I like the idea of having everything that I need specifically built into this one unit with wheels and handles and the closing up ability. Yeah, yeah. And the doors should be flush to the inside. So there you go. So that means that each door will have a corner piece that has the hinge on it, so that when the door swings open, it doesn't just swing open like this, but it swings all the way around and flattens up against a side. And that's important to keep it down. I don't want a big door swinging out over here and a big door swinging out over here. I want those doors to swing all the way around. Okay. But I don't want the front to be flush. Well, maybe I do. I guess we're going to have to take a look at it. We're going to have to design it. We're going to have to, I'm going to have to stop the show early today and bust out my graph paper and my rulers and measuring devices and start schematicizing this. Right? He's getting creative again, Margaret.
He's got an outlet, honey. Let him be. Let him be. Let him be.
So yeah, I'm gonna finish up my coffee. Cold. Lava lamp's finally starting to move. Huh? I think it takes a while to wake up. Oh, longer than me. So let's see. What am I doing this weekend? This weekend, I'm probably doing a lot of video tests. I will probably be doing, well, crap. If I can find an USB to HDMI, I am going to be doing some testing. At the very least, I can plug my VCR into the mixer because I have a RCA to USB. So I can do that, and I can plug a camera into that. So I can do that test and see if my secondary camera deal works. And that idea is that I'm going to have 3 cameras, USB to HDMI, plugged into the mixer. I'm going to leave one of those HDMIs open so that I can plug in my RCA jacks. If I take my RCA jacks and then plug in my RCA jack mixer, I can plug in 4 things into that. So now I can go between 4 different elements through an RCA jack, which means I can have my VCR hooked up, and I can have 3 cameras hooked up. I can also run a 4th camera through the VCR, right? So now I'm up to what, 7 cameras. Pretty slick. Pretty plus any audio that I can come up with, Bluetooth, reel-to-reel, 8-track, cassette, LP, live mics, recorded stuff anywhere off my phone, right? I can pipe in some video from any computers and my VCR, DVD player. So literally we've gone from like a little show like this and we're just going to go pow, right? I can introduce openings and closing elements, phone calls. I can mic my telephone and do live telephone calls, bring up somebody's picture and put it up on the screen. Hey, this is her we're talking to, via telephone. Yeah. It's crazy. I feel like I need to get some rest just so that I can come at this fresh, But I think the first order of business is to draw up a schematic, tidy up my place here, and put together a small parts list and go get some materials and build this fucking thing. And then I'll run some tests this weekend. However I can, I'll run some kind of tests and try to get this streaming unit hooked up solo by itself through the modem. That's important. I'm going to have to reset passwords. That's a fucking drag. So, yeah. Reset passwords. That's the big thing. Because I don't know most of them. That's the big crux. So most of the passwords that we use, we just re-log in. Everything stays logged in, right? So I don't know most of these passwords. Now, I don't want to put a lot of crap onto these laptops or my phones. Basically, I just want it for this kind of stuff. Now, on my phone, I do want like Netflix and Paramount and Prime and that kind of stuff, because I'm more likely to use my phone as entertainment while I'm working on stuff through the TVs and the computers and stuff, right? Or if I'm out somewhere, I'll want some form of entertainment to keep me from being bored, right? Cabinet plans. Shopping. I'm going to make a list of things I need for this. There's a few extra things. I've got a little list made, but I need to get just what I need to do my test and to build this cabinet. So if I build the shelves that slide in and out, because I don't want to put a shelf and then have a slide shelf over the top of that. So the slide shelf should be the only divider between the computers, right? Which means I need a shelf, and then I need some little short 1.5-inch sides built into that, so the slides can attach to that and then attach to the inside walls. So we do that. We build it deep enough and wide enough for cables coming out the back and on the sides, mainly on the fucking sides here. What I need to get is little USB HDMI corner 90-degree angles, right? You plug it in and then the cable plugs in at a different angle. That would make it smaller, right? So angled USB and HDMI. Well, I will take a look. I don't think I'm going to find anything locally, but I might be able to order something. I don't want that to hold up the cabinet. I'd rather have the cabinet be a little wide than wait, because I want to get this done. I want to get all this stuff built into one unit. And it would be nice to do it before season 3 of the morning show. So I'm going live from that one booth. I mean, it'll be that box and a chair, and that's all I'll need to go anywhere, right? It'd be nice to have the big monitor that I have, but I should be able to do everything from the small monitor in my phone, right? Because the live feed is going to be okay. I'm rethinking this whole back and front thing. Maybe I can do it on one side. Keep it about the same depth, right? And have each shelf with the keyboard on it on a slide, right? So this shelf with the keyboard on it and the mouse slides out, and I can use it. Or I can, uh-oh. Let me cancel out whatever this is fucking doing here. So we keep it on its own separate shelf, the keyboard and the mouse, and then as it slides out, behind it is its own laptop. So it can come all the way out, and that laptop can open, and we can use it. Now we're really going pow. So everything's on the front. We slide those in. There's a VCR here. I can push boom control on a VCR. So we've got the top that opens up with the monitor on it. We've got a shelf that slides out below that controller shelf. And then we've got the keyboard that slides out with a laptop, the keyboard that slides out with a laptop, another keyboard with a laptop. And then below it, we've got a big drawer filled with all the cables. Now, what do I use the backside for? I think the backside should be a closet, right? A door that swings open, and then hanging in that closet should be wound up cables, you know, audio, video, a couple of sheaths with microphones stuffed into them, but just deep enough, just about 5 or 6 inches deep closet, room enough to hang a couple of mic cables deep and a couple of microphones deep. On the and then inside there, I can have power cables coming in and plugged in. So that closet, the top of the closet, should be a junction box with cables coming in from a hole that goes down a shaft and into the basin, right? Or at least into an area where all the cables go. So that it's got to have a hidden area, because I don't want to look at all those cables that are all connecting everything together. The cables that are in this closet that are hung up, one of them should already be connected, right? So each cable, this is mic 1, mic 2, mic 3, right? Camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, and you literally pull the cable out all wound up, and it's already plugged into where it goes. All you have to do is take it out and unwind it and attach it somewhere. It says camera 1 on it, big giant number 1. That's camera 1. You wind it all back up and you hang it on its own hook and strap it down. Camera 1. So we've got the cameras, we've got the microphones, we've got all the other peripheral stuff, the cables hanging, and microphones. The junction box with the power, that might be down below, up top somewhere, probably up top. Yeah, it's really starting to look like a finished product here. The laptops and the keyboard, I can use two-sided tape and affix them to their shelves so that they don't bounce around in transit, right? I have a little pocket or sheath to put a mouse in. I'm I'm really starting to see it. Okay, people, this is this is Mornings with Crazy Old Weird Bearded Guy, and you've been watching my thought processes this morning as I've been coming up with plans to build my cabinet for my channel. I want everything having to do with this channel and video and sound to be all in one unit that can be put anywhere I want. Anywhere. And I will probably keep a couple, 1 or 2 cameras permanently installed here. In fact, that's not a bad idea. I will permanently install a couple of cameras and microphone here, and then have things that I can do and go live, mobile. So camera 1 will be a jack that comes out, and I can hook in camera 1 here or camera 1 mobile, right? Yes. Maybe I'll do that third shelf for my sound mixing stuff. The digital video stuff up here, and then sound stuff in a little slide, and then a couple of keyboard laptop slides, right? And then the VCRs on a shelf, and then a little bucket drawer filled with excess stuff, right? And then I can have a front that opens up, swings around, and locks up against the side with a magnet. You can have the other side open up and swing around. That side can remain closed. I'll have some cable ports so that all of the cables can come out one little opening, and the door can stay closed. And then have one side with shoot, I don't know, some straps for more cables, a couple of pockets for tripods. I mean, really, if I can make this work so that it's one unit that goes anywhere and functions multiple ways, you know. I always put so much planning and thinking into stuff, you know. Build. But sure is a lot of fun. Okay, people, I am going to wrap it up for the day. This has been Mornings with Crazy Old Weird Bearded Guy. We're doing a 2-hour show today so I can get the ball rolling. I've got a whole list of things that I want to do today, and I got to go out and work for an hour or two. So I want to get started now. So by the time the house wakes up and we get ready for work, I've already got some things knocked out, and then go to work, and then maybe run to Home Depot, grab some things, and come back here and start working, right? And then I got to try to fit a nap in there somewhere. I really hate napping during the day because it takes all of my daylight, and then I really can't do anything outside. But yeah, this is just so a 1/2-inch sheet of plywood, some 1x2s, and some slides. I think if I get 3 sets of slides, then this will work, and it'll be a cabinet about, I don't know, about 20 inches by about, 20 inches maybe. That might be a good 20, right? Not too tall. I mean, just tall enough so that the tallest top thing is right out in front of me on a regular chair, and so that the little monitor on there is right out in front of me. So it shouldn't be too tall, and then everything else should be within, ease of not having to go down too low to tap on a keyboard. And then, of course, the back side is for pre-production, setting up, breaking down. This little drawer down here, same thing. So having the computers and the VCRs right here. I can fit a little spot up here somewhere for my DVR burner, my little hard drives, right? I should probably have a little hard drive shelf, just a little place where little hard drives are going in and then down into their computers. Or maybe with each computer, have a little pocket where the we should have plenty of room for that. It's got to be wide enough for a mouse, right? Totally. So that's got to be at least 20 inches, maybe more, 22, 24 inches. It's going to be perfect. A cube, a box, right? Square on the top, rectangular in the height. That should be perfect. Have the top open up with like a box, just open up like a box with that monitor mounted right inside of it, right? And then when it opens up, it should click into place somehow. A magnet should hold it or something, right? So if I flush mount some magnets inside, metal and magnets inside, so when it comes together, it stays closed, flush, but those magnets keep it from dropping forward. Put 3 magnets in there. Click it open. It's got a sides on it and a top. Right. That's gonna. All right. Yeah. All right, people. Adios. It's been a great day. Love you all. Peace. And I will see you. Tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I will see you Monday. Wish me luck for this weekend. I sure hope you find that dog. All right, weirdos. Thanks for coming by. I'll see you Monday.